Welcome back to the To Be Fair Show. I am your host, Johnny P.
Oh, here, real?
It's Q.
And we back. Special guest today.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna let I'm gonna let my boy Real do it. I'm gonna let my boy Real do the honors.
That's crazy. I don't even know how to introduce this man. Uh, I say I love him for sure. My best friend at this point as an adult. Um, Definitely a rider. You know what I mean? I love him to death, man. That's my pops. Old head seniors, guess that's what we're gonna call them. Welcome to the show.
Old head senior, welcome to the show.
Appreciate you pulling up on us.
Yeah.
Appreciate you pulling up on us. So shoot, I guess we're gonna start as we always do. You know what I mean? Kind of get some bases. Um, we're gonna go with because we're doing Black Fatherhood. You know, we do the segments or the series doing a Black Fatherhood series, and I thought it'd be dope to have. You know what I mean? Why not bring my pops on? You know what I mean? And let us talk a little bit about how my upbringing was, along with my siblings. You know what I mean? And what you've learned, you know, in your parenting journey. So I guess we'll start at when was your how old were you when you had your first child?
Yeah. 16.
16.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how old were you when you had your last?
39.
39. And altogether, how many are there?
5.
Five. Okay. And so let's say that, let's just start here. In your early stages of parenting, is there something that you would say like you've continued to learn on this journey of parenthood? Because it sounds like, which I know, but it sounds like you're still in the middle of these prime ages of parenting. It sounds like the youngest is 14 or 15, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say you've done differently with him, or would like, or that you view differently with him than you viewed with the first few or the first one?
Well, I'm old school, so, I come from, whoop that ass and then whoop that ass and then whoop it some more. That's where I come from. That's the way I was brought up, so that's the way I was with y'all, you know what I mean? Which I didn't really actually get physical with y'all because you really didn't give me a reason. I had already had the fear in you to know that if I had to, it was going to be done. And so I didn't really have to do it so often, but now versus then, it's more. I learned that it's more communication, because I learned with y'all because I was so young when you were born. Growing up, I learned a lot of things that was done wrong as far as in my parents raising me, and then I learned certain things that I did wrong in raising y'all. And so now with my son, my last one, which is you used to be the baby, now he the baby boy. So with him, it's more communication, communication, communication. I listen to more. I've learned that to listen more to what he want and which direction he feel like that he want to go, and how the little nuances of guiding him with the same construct of what he trying to do, where I feel like that he should go until he actually get old enough to make a decision like that.
Yeah,
So I learned that.
that sounds pretty good. I mean, it would have been nice to have some kind of consideration. Man, a few years ago, so that would have been nice. But nah, I'm just bullshitting. I ain't mad at all. I think that and I wish I would have actually started here. I wanted to go back to your relationship with your father,
Oh,
because I think that played a big part in the way that you chose to parent earlier on. So, what was your relationship with your father like?
oh, it was like pretty much like I was started out. He said it and I did it. If I didn't, I know the consequences. The only thing that it's a lot of things I feel like my dad could have done better. Just like pretty much everybody probably could say the same about their pops. But the thing with my father was the best, the the best things, best relationship, best part of our relationship was work. I didn't have a relationship with my father unless it was based on work. You know what I mean? My father was, you know what I mean, he was old school. If he said it, you did it, or there were repercussions. That was it. Then in that order. And only time I got any praise for him is when I worked and worked hard. You know what I mean? Or being a whoremonger. That's what he taught me. You know what I mean? If you a man work, that's the first thing. If you're a man, you work. You make money. When you get off, you play, and you play just as hard as you work. And yeah, and only I can say the only time I got praise, I feel like even from my father or my mother, is when it's for work and women. You know, just being honest, my mom didn't know whether I was going to be gay or straight.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, that's a fact. Because I was always to myself. But it was in the household I was in, it was 3 women and me. So they did their thing. And then I was just left, you know what I mean? So I stayed to myself. You know what I mean? So by the time I started really entertaining girls, she felt like I was late to the game. You know what I'm saying? So they gave me praise. The more women I messed with, the more praise I got, even with my father. So they pretty much made me what I am as far as what I was, because I'm on I call it the 12-step program. You know what I mean? I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? I've been a good boy for, you know, a good little minute now. But yeah, that's what that's old school. My mama, my daddy, that's what they, you know what I mean? My mom, she was happy when I was messing with girls. The more girls I messed with, the happier she was. My dad the same way. So they made me feel like that's how you get the praise. So that's what I roll with, bro.
Let me ask you this: knowing what you know now about like how your parents, you know, raised you, how would you say, you know, that affected how you started out, you know, parenting, and then what you're doing now? Can you see like the effects of what your parents did and the oldest,
Yeah.
and that lessening as you get to your younger kids?
Yeah, that's it. Like I was saying, you know, like with my baby boy, Julian. Now I understand the difference, but I learned a lot of that from old head.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Old head, and I have conversations that make me realize some practices I had may not have been the best ones, or that
Oh, that's deep.
I didn't give them room enough to be themselves. You know what I'm saying? Being overbearing as a parent, because there's a such thing. But back when I was coming up and my dad and mom was coming up, there was no such thing as an overbearing parent.
That was just a good parent.
It was just
You was just doing what you had to do.
As long as when you stepped out, they pulled out that strap and got on your tail, and you didn't get into no real bad trouble. They did a great job. That was it. That was their job. And so I grew up from those people coming at my kids the same way. And the only difference is it probably was a blessing that I was not actually in the house with them all the time, because basically they were threatened by my name, but not necessarily my physical being there to actually, you know what I'm saying? Because his mom, she didn't call me until she was done. You know what I mean? And then I was supposed to come in and
You
discipline.
was telling the lady wood when Pops came
pretty
through.
much.
Talking about you used to get in trouble. So you gonna wear that because Mom Dukes ain't gonna spare you to wait for him to get there. Nah, she got that off too though. You know what I mean? So you just gonna rock with both of them.
It was two of them.
Yeah. And then she didn't even let you know that he was coming though. So it was a surprise.
Oh,
He
damn,
just show up at the door.
That's the worst one. Yeah, you can't even prepare. Can't even put the basketball shorts on up under the joint.
I used to always have a thought of like, you know what I mean, trying to put some layers on or something like that. I ain't never do it though. I always thought like, yeah, because I'm gonna get caught and it's just gonna be long. It's just gonna be worse.
I got caught with
See,
I didn't got caught.
I ain't want to wear it.
I didn't got caught with the basketball shorts under the jeans when I knew one was coming. But hey, let me ask you one more thing, Old Head Senior. I think y'all got a really dope, what you said about learning a lot from Real here. When did that start to happen? That y'all's relationship went from more of the father
So
son
Johnny,
to
I guess because I want to ask a question. I think that will kind of like unpack that in itself.
okay.
And where I want to kind of like start it really open ended, where I like to just hear y'all talk about the journey of y'all relationship and its evolution from like I don't know, like boy to man, and the respect to where y'all at as almost I don't know if it's proper to say peers to an extent. Like we like there's a real mutual respect there.
I
Yeah.
understand. I understand exactly what you're saying.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love to hear kind of like that journey of that relationship.
So I guess I'll kind of unpack it a bit. So I mean, the first thing that I want to say is that once the best thing you can try and do as you're growing up is to try and understand as best you can and understand. Well, I mean, it's hard to really understand the perspective of your parents as their child. You know what I mean? It's hard to really completely understand. The only thing I can say is hopefully the parent is gonna speak you know what I mean, with you as much as possible. I mean, I ain't gonna say we did that early on. It definitely wasn't a thing. But at the same time, I wish I would have given a little more grace. You know what I mean? Because I was very, very had a real dislike for him. You know what I mean? And
And where did that stem from?
it really stemmed from like expectations not being, you know what I mean, things being said and not happening. You know what I mean? The expectation to have this thing go this way and then it not go, not happen at all. And you know what I mean? So it really it's I would say it stemmed from there. And then I was also one of the children that, would get put out, have to go live with them few times, you know what I mean? So like I did that too. And I think that like you gotta give like I'm glad that I forgave him, is what I'm trying to say. I'm glad through all of the back and forth and all of that I had in me, you know what I mean? All of the disliking. And I wouldn't even say hatred, but I would have thought that it was hatred at a point.
I was gonna say, how bad did it get?
Yeah, nah, I would have thought that it was hatred at a point, you know what I mean? And but yeah, man, I'm telling you, like, and the reason why I say the forgiveness thing is like, man, because at the end of the day, he just told you he had his first at 16. I ain't even really put the numbers together to really kind of, you know what I mean? I ain't care so much to put the numbers together. But at the same time, I can only imagine if I would have had my first youngin, if she would have came at even hell 22, still, you know what I mean? I had so much more growing to do, so I can only imagine, you know what I mean? At this point, it's good to, but we'll go ahead. You were about to say something?
I was about to say you don't leave out the good part. You wanted to whoop my ass one time.
Oh
Remember?
yeah.
And that's what we here to hit. That's what we're going to hear right
Yeah,
there.
man. Because I'm telling. See, the thing is that father son thing. I think that almost I would think almost every boy has got to a point to where they were so mad they wanted to scrap their pops. I don't think that's like out of the norm.
What he did.
What he did. Oh man. So I mean, at the end of the day, it was more like what he does is like he's like a nitpicker kind of person. So like he'd make up in his mind. You know what I mean? And then also, I was living at his house, though I was paying. You know what I mean? I was living at his house, so he thought that things were supposed to be done a specific way. You know what I mean? Even though he don't live there. So
It wasn't supposed to be done a certain way. In his house? Oh my bad. I'm in.
hey, my thing.
I got you. I
You
got
was
you.
paying.
I got you. I got you.
paying, though.
You paying.
And I'm paying the full amount.
You paying the full amount.
The full amount.
So that should give you some leeway.
Yeah, because you don't live here. You know what I mean? If somebody else was renting the house, then you would be renting, you know what I mean? A crib. There's no consequence or anything, you know what I mean? But
Because you paying.
Because I'm paying.
But that's your house, though.
Yeah. I own it.
That's your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
The deed in my name. The deed in my
That's
name.
a rule.
Yeah, the deed in my name.
Okay.
But see,
Yeah.
Hey, real. I don't mean to interject.
Go ahead.
Speaking of nitpicking, I feel it's proper really quickly to address the elephant in the room. I like your new hairstyle.
I appreciate it,
Want to
bro.
unpack that a little bit more?
Yeah, I appreciate it. So, shoot, as soon as I cut my hair, I mean, like the day I cut it, I started growing my hair back to get it put back in. Literally. So it took
Did
me
you have like a term that you used for it?
5 months. Oh yeah, the copy and paste. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Give me the copy and paste. You know what I mean? Shit, I went in there and told them what I told them when I was asking for the request. I need the copy and paste.
You got coin that.
For sure, bro.
You gotta take that.
Yeah. At first they had it, and see the thing is that like I understand why a lot of dudes still have their locks and they don't do it. You know what I mean? I understand because it's a thing that's in there that keeps you from doing it. You know what I mean? But it's like a masculine. You know what I mean? It's one of those masculine things. Like you're not supposed to do it. It's one of those, and I get it. I've been talking to a lot of guys recently that have their hair still, and they just won't do it because they just know that it looks a certain way, but we feel that it does.
But
So
I don't get that.
So I guess another question I would have: do you think that you getting it put back in was because you felt that you cut them not for the right reason?
absolutely, I cut him as a response. Anger. It was anger.
Okay.
It was a response to, you know what I mean, a scenario, and it was just like, yeah, I didn't care. I was like, well, I don't care that much, you know what I mean? So I just cut him off, and then next thing you know, it's like, nah, but I actually did care. You know what I mean? I actually wanted it, and it ain't really too much stuff that I actually, you know what I mean, that like pulled me in that way. It's like, nah, but I want my hair, like, you know what I mean? So I'm just gonna put it back in. You know what I mean? It wasn't cheap, I can tell you that.
I feel
It wasn't cheap, but you know, it was you know what I mean, in the long run to be worth it.
Let me ask one more question before we'll hop
Yeah.
off of it. And this is a real question, did like the response
Hold on. When a motherfucker, and this is a real question, you
No.
know, this about to be a fucked up question. This is a real question, by the way. All right, go ahead, bro.
not too much on Jeremy. Come on, man.
Nah, it's brother to brother, though. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You said it was a response. Like I ain't even, realize all that it was a response, but did it get the desired effect that you was like looking for?
You know something that's crazy? What I realized is that we put ourselves, you know how as men, and I'm one of those men that complain about some of these like stereotypes and some of these toxic masculinity, all of these type of things that we say. What I realized is that women have a different level of freedom and they don't mind more shit than we believe. Like the women literally like, they love the shit. You know what I mean? I had one girl, she was like, yeah, if you go, because I told her, I'm honest about it. You know what I mean? I like to be vulnerable all the time. So I don't really care. But I was telling her, I was like, yeah, I went back and forth, especially like the night before getting it done and shit. And she was like, man, boy, you can do whatever you want to do. It's your hair. And then she was like, next month you can change it again. And then double back. And I was like, they just have a different level of freedom.
Well, that's what they do.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not. I think we're holding ourselves. Some of that shit be us holding ourselves to
anybody
standards
could do
that
it.
aren't really there.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I say. And but yeah, the response was dope. Men generally have the same response. You know what I mean? Men generally have the same response, but I don't really give a fuck what they think. No way. What y'all think? I ain't, you know what I mean?
I ain't had no response.
Not
About all that.
At the end of the day, you ain't trying to look good for no dude. No
Hell
way.
yeah.
Absolutely not.
So what? I mean,
can't
his
listen to
opinion
motherfuckers
is
do what
not
they-
even valid at that
What
point.
they doing?
Right. So that was a commercial break brought to you by Sir A. Dot Graphic Design. Make sure that you go check out Sir A. Dot Inspired Creative Graphic Design. So I guess want to kind of like hop back into it. Y'all was kind of unpacking. I didn't want to really break it up, but it was a moment.
So it had to
I
be
get it
early
out.
too. We couldn't just wait too long.
Yeah, had to get it off. But yeah, again, I love to hear y'all to continue to unpack.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot. Like, you know what I mean? I can tell you this. Old head definitely wasn't, he didn't care that much. Like he didn't care that much and literally like even I can say something simple as like going to school. He didn't care about going to school. He didn't care about me going to school. So it was easy for me to drop out. You know what I mean? It was easy. I went to work and that was, you know what I mean? The same thing he did. And so it was no.
So he didn't care about school. He just
didn't
cared
care about
work.
school. Yeah, he just cared about a man go to work. You know what I mean? And then I don't want to forget this too. I want y'all to like. I feel like this is an important place. In my opinion, like when he started to actually respect me. I think that was like I don't want to forget to go there.
I'm gonna get there.
I don't want to forget to go there, but that's a little bit later down the line. But I mean, like I remember staying with him and like walking from from Hidden Valley to City Side, because Mom Duke stayed at City Side for a little minute, walking just to get a plate. You know what I mean? And he was out running, chasing, you know what I mean? Lil Jones, and like literally I was just at the pretty much living by myself with no income. You know what I mean? So it wasn't sweet at all. You know what I mean? It wasn't sweet at all. But I've always been, and it was also my fault too, because I ain't never been the type to ask for nothing. You know what I mean? I don't really ask for nothing.
I'll
And that's
ask
what he
you.
tell me too. That's the reason that he wasn't, because I wasn't asking, but I was thinking like, man, I shouldn't have had to ask.
If you hungry, if you gonna eat, you gotta open your mouth.
Closed mouth
Now,
don't
if you
get
keep
fed.
your mouth closed, you can't
See
eat.
what I be talking about?
You know
I
what
mean, that's
Hey
true.
Johnny, that's what you say about independent women. We just posted that clip. Yeah, you say closed mouth don't get fed. The reason why them the women that want a lot get a lot is because they be asking for it.
I did say that.
Yeah, he did say that.
I did say that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I had to think back about. I say a lot.
But old head senior, I guess I love to get just kind of like your perspective on like that part of the journey that he just spoke about.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Can I ask
we had
one
a
more question to
Good.
Rev? But before, because I want to get back to that. But
Yeah.
the question I want to ask you: what did you learn about yourself in that time, as far in that period?
Yeah, the thing is that on the back end, hearing what his goal was, I appreciate it. I appreciate it now because at the end of the day, the goal, I mean, at the end of you're gonna have to figure it out. That's what it was. I learned that you're gonna have to figure it out. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to figure it out. Ain't nobody finna come here and make
Save
it
your
sweet for
ass.
you to live
Yeah.
at my house and eating my food. You know what I mean? Using up my water. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody finna make that sweet for you. And as a man, I'm kind of torn in between the way that they talk about. I gotta find my way of doing it, but I definitely don't think that it should be easy for a man child. I don't think that we should make it cake because it ain't cake out here.
Right.
It ain't cake. So yeah,
Definitely.
you need to go and get cake. It ain't cake. You got to go
Yeah.
and make that joint.
No. So yeah,
yeah.
senior.
I just wanted him to see pretty much what my dad taught me, and I got the same complaints with my dad that he had with me, but the only difference is the ones I had with my dad is more pronounced than the ones he had with me because as the generations go on, each one learned more. You know what I'm saying? My father was harder on my father than he was on me. My I'm not as hard on my son as my father was. I'm gonna tell you something. You was talking about the relationship between my. I'm gonna get to what you're saying, but this is something important that I think you should know. I never in my life, to the day, ever heard my father tell me or any man, and I felt like I deserved it, but me or any man that he loved him. I never heard my father say that he loved me. Now I've heard people that was in his circle say your daddy loved you, but don't mean shit to me. You saying it don't mean nothing. I ain't hear it come out of his mouth. You know what I'm saying? So so now that brings me back to what you were saying about what I learned during that time or whatever. My son was about, I'm gonna say 15. About 15. I had never in my life told him that I loved him. And the only reason it was important to me is because I realized in my adult life what it did to me not hearing my father say, I love you. I can't ever remember my father hugging me. That's no lie. Love my father to death. Anybody know me know that I love my daddy. You know what I'm saying? But I never heard my daddy say, I love you, and I never felt my daddy hug me. Never. Now, at the time, I didn't know how that affected me. You know what I'm saying? And in my I'm gonna say late 20s, early 30s, I started realizing what it did to me. And the problems I had growing up that I wouldn't have had if I'd have had that experience. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, that's real.
And so then when it came to old head, he was like 15. The first time I tried to tell him that I loved him, couldn't get it out.
Oh,
I
damn.
had never been in a surrounding where a man told another man or even his son that he loved him. But I knew it was something that I needed. And so I didn't want to deprive him of it. But he was like 15. And I went to tell him I love him. Couldn't get it out. Tried hard. Could not
Yeah.
get it out. I couldn't figure out how to say it. I don't know what happened. I just couldn't do it. So
And let me just say this too, just to go with what he's talking about right now. It also was because I had never heard it from a man. At that point, it was hard for me to say it back too.
Yeah, and I guess I don't know. I like where we're at inside this space because I think that this is probably a
That's
common
good.
experience that a lot of guys our age have with their father. Where I know our rings very similar. Where I don't think I can recall the time my dad saying that he loves me. I think that I guess it will be more implied through provision and shit like that. But in general, like those words hadn't actually been said. If anything, maybe more so like some critique here and there. That's more of what I might be more used to. In which it now gets me to like my son's 14. And I know that for me, that is still like a hard journey itself. And I can kind of say it. Sometimes it's easier to text it. But in general, like verbalizing that in general, like it's a tough thing because it's not something that I seen.
right.
And again, like it's not like my father, he didn't like outwardly show emotion. So I'm sure like a big piece of like even me inside that comes from that. And
Bro, that's it. It really trickles down. You see how I tell
Yeah.
y'all I love y'all like all the time, and that literally came from him. Him saying it, then he said it again, and then of course it just gets easier. Then it comes to a
Every
point, and
time.
now we say it every single day. We say it every single day, and I don't leave my brothers, none of my people that I consider my brothers. I don't leave their presence without telling them that. You know what I mean? And it just makes sense to me. It just makes sense.
Yeah. But in my story, I was trying to at 15, I didn't tell him. So I didn't tell him at that. I couldn't get it out. That's what I was trying to say. I couldn't get it out. So it was probably like 17, 18. But at that time, I was froze. I couldn't
I
do
get it.
nothing,
Yep,
couldn't
yep,
say
yep,
nothing. It wouldn't nothing come out my mouth. He was just standing there. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing I could say. I couldn't get nothing to come out my mouth. So, like I say, it took me probably another year, 2 years before we got back to that point. And I told him this time that I loved him.
Yeah, I remember it was in
Do
the
you
backyard.
understand how that tore my chest open? I couldn't. I mean, it was like somebody. You know how when you got a cold and it's the cold with mucus in your chest, and then you get that cough and feel like it tear your throat out. That cough, yeah, that cough right there. That's the way it felt. It felt like I'm telling you, it felt like I was doing something wrong by saying it. That's how it felt.
There's depth to that for sure.
It felt like I was doing something wrong when I told him. And after I told him or whatever, he didn't really respond that I can remember, really respond. But we kind of like, that was enough. You know, that's enough bonding right there. You know what I mean? We done crossed some
Y'all kinda
lines.
like,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
you got it.
Yeah. We just went ahead and rocked with that, and went on our way. But every time after that, it got easier and easier, and I felt good. Even
Got that off.
even not really knowing if he understand what I'm trying to do, I still felt good at a point. Now this wasn't early. It was a few I love yous in when I got to the point where I started feeling good about it. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's where we come from right there.
No, that's I think that's beautiful, man, because it's something like you say, it's real relatable. Most black men, I feel like, are kind of, even if you know your pops love you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
even if your pops didn't said it before, even just the fact that it's reluctant, or it's not always just oh, I love you, son. It's even the fact that it was reluctant. 'Cause I remember when my pops told me, like, I grew up with both. I grew up, and I've heard it, but there's when I get older, it's like it got less and less. Like
Yeah.
when it's a kid, you hear it all the time. Then as you get older, you don't hear it as much, and you start to wonder, and then
Yeah.
that disconnect between men showing emotion,
That's it.
you start to see it. But I was gonna ask, was the journey there like the way with Red? Was it the same with all your kids, or was it on a different timeline for the other kids?
Um, my baby boy is 14 right now, so we going through, the emotions of,
Doing that
bonding
right now.
and we in the midst of that. So I can't say, you know what I mean, how that's gonna go one way or the other. I'm reaching out. That's all I can say.
Have you told him you love him when he was a kid? You ever?
That's easy when they're babies, like
Right,
my
okay.
grandbaby. That's easy.
So
The
it's-
part is when they get
When they
like
get-
he
when-
14
when you
now.
get older,
Let's talk about do I love you now? He
Mm-hmm.
can understand. He know what I'm talking about now. So that's the difference. It's easy to tell a baby you
You
love
love
him.
them, yeah. Because that's what I remember.
Yeah.
I remember hearing it a lot. The younger and the older you got, the less and less you hear it.
Yeah. And see,
then-
that's when you need it the most.
Right. In fact,
That's when you need it the most. You know what
I
I'm saying?
believe so. Yeah.
So
For
you know,
sure.
it was like I say, it was me recognizing what it did to me not to hear that, to not want my son to experience that.
And how old was Grandpops when how
44.
old were you when he passed?
I was 22. I was about 22 when your granddaddy died. About 22, between 22 and 24 when he died. You was hold on. How old was I when you was born?
Yeah, why
You
would I?
was
That's
it
you supposed to
89?
know that number. I don't know how old you was when I was born.
You was born after he died.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
was born after he died. So I'm trying to think. Okay, yeah, because you was born in '89.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. It was like almost 5 years later when you was born, from when he died. Yeah, it was between 3 and 5 years. I'm I'm not good with those dates or whatever, but yeah, it was somewhere along in there. So he was gone, and everybody, I know everybody used to tell you how he would have spoiled you. Yeah, because you was the first grandson.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I have a question, which I guess maybe it's kind of moving the conversation forward a little bit. So, Rel, how would you say? Well, or I guess I'll ask it more open ended. Has having kids impacted your perspective on your dad?
Eesh. I'm gonna say yes, absolutely. I'm gonna say absolutely. I mean, yeah, for sure. Because at the end of the day, you give respect to the freestyle. Do you know what I mean? You give respect to the freestyle. Once you realize it, like, okay, well, first off, there is no correct answer. You know what I mean? There's no correct answer, and the only correct answer is always try to be intentionally doing what I think is best. That's the only thing you can attempt. I guess that's the best thing. And at the end of the day, like we always talk about how they had less information. The actual the like he talked about how his father was with him, how his mother was with him. You know what I mean? You literally have to take into account that whole experience and all of that. So you can't really, you got to give that grace. And the thing is, I think is you after you've matured and started to understand the relationships between yourself and your parents, and then you have children to see like, oh, okay, yeah, nah, I know how this goes. Like I know I'm not going to be perfect.
Yeah,
You can literally see I am not perfect right now, and for me to have talked or felt so strongly.
It
You know what I
humanizes
mean?
it.
Yeah, it's super. That's exactly what it does. It humanizes the being a parent for sure.
I was gonna say, imagine like you feel like freestyling now with all the information we got.
Right.
Imagine how much the generation before, with the lack of information they had, were, just
Right.
trying to
And
just trying to do
that's
their
something
best.
that I consistently try to get across or speak through, and I try and get that to some of my siblings inside, like some of their resentments that they might have for like my parents. In which I think that for some of them they might have to have some kids. For them to really see it through the full lens and perspective in which all I care about and the way I judge most things is your intent. And with the
That's
information that you knew, were you trying to do the best that you could or the
Mm-hmm.
best that you knew, especially given whatever you was exposed to and how
Or lack thereof.
right. And to me, like, that's probably the most proper lens, in my opinion, to look at parenting and your parents in general.
Yes.
But I guess before we move too far, I would say that I would like to kind of give kudos to y'all in y'all relationship,
Appreciate it.
in which I know for me there is a space where y'all motivate me to have different conversations with my dad. In which I know, like, for me, that's probably like a wall that I have to take a step towards. And
Yeah.
seeing y'all do it in real time is motivating and humbling in the same sense where, I think that there's a lot to be said about being able to break down that barrier as adults and really have real person conversations with, what I mean, son to father, father to son, to where like you're actually able to really relate and be humans together in
And
real
bro,
time,
No, that's
I
void of
swear,
the power dynamic.
I swear, bro. Like that's the. I would tell you this. I ain't gonna. I put a lot of. I put a lot of respect on our relationship because at the end of the day, the one thing that I could say that made me feel like a man was once my pops treated me like a man. Once he no longer treated me like, you know what I mean? I like literally like now he like you were saying earlier, he treats me like his peer. You know what I mean? He respects me like his peer. Even though we still have that, it's still a
Of
bit of the
course,
dynamic to
but I
it.
think
But
that's probably the word, that he respects you like a
yeah,
man.
he
it's,
respects me as
That's
a
probably what
man.
I was trying to
it's that
get to earlier.
respect go a long way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so
Respect
like
definitely go a
it's
long
never a
way.
situation where like my opinion is less than his, and never a scenario where that happens. You know what I mean? So like that's like, and yeah, like I'm super. I appreciate it because, and the thing is, what it did was it started out me being able to tell him like how I felt about the stuff that was going on, and like then he can respond. You know what I mean? It's not just like I'm just, you know what I mean, trying to shove everything you did down your throat, but it's like you have a chance to respond. And at the end of the day, your response is as true as it can be. You know what I mean?
In that,
Right.
As
in
true
that
as it can be, and it's
situation.
like, man, you got to end up. I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. And being forgiven with my pops, man, I think that's like the best thing that I probably, well, aside from kids and things like that, that's like the best decision I've made. Because it's like nothing like that. It's like somebody, you talk about somebody that's gonna ride. Man, ain't nobody riding for you like your pops, bro. Nobody, bro.
No, it's facts.
Nobody, bro.
I was gonna say y'all definitely like the example. I look at y'all and be like, damn, that's what I'm trying to get to with my pops, especially I mean I think the respect there, but the vulnerability
Yeah.
isn't and the way y'all got it. That's pretty dope to see. But I want to piggyback off a little bit of what Real just said and ask you when he talked about that part of you seeing him as a man and that respect. What did my boy Rail do? Or when was that moment that you
Oh, okay.
started looking at him as, or that switch, and when you started seeing a man when you looked at your son?
Yeah. It was over a time period to where I was getting to see him like that, and it started like even like when he went to the military. He wasn't going infantry, so he had to have this special job, but his credit was messed up. So I had to run and call and move and pay stuff and everything to get his credit where it needed to be so he could get the job that he wanted when he went into the military.
Yeah,
Or else he wasn't going.
Yeah, because it come with the clearance. So like you score high enough to get a job that
That ASVAB.
right. So but then it was a clearance. So it's like a secret clearance. In order to get the clearance, they look at your credit score.
No, damn.
And I had already, nigga, I got my first credit card at 18. Bruh, shouts to and fuck Capital One. Like, it's crazy because they're gonna be the first one
Cap
to
One
pull
got
you
a
out
lot
with
of-
that. As soon as you turn 18,
They
it's
had
gonna
a
be
lot
in the
of people
mail,
in the
dog.
mix.
And so I maxed out my first credit card, one swipe. You know what I mean? One
You
swipe,
wasn't playing no
$500 system, and then bro had me thinking like, man, there ain't no way that system was $500. Either way, that was just joint out Vegas for it.
Jeez.
Over there, got my tooth fittings, and yeah, never made a payment.
You was stuck.
Never made a payment. So and then yeah, never mind. We'll let that rock. And yeah, so my credit was fucked up, and so in order to get the clearance. In order to get the job that required the clearance, there were some things that he had to do, like, call and make arrangements and everything to pay the debt back and all of that kind of stuff. And he pulled through because if it wasn't for that, I definitely wasn't going.
Damn.
I definitely wasn't going because at that point, it was the only other jobs that they really had openings for was infantry. And then, like, I scored high enough to go to the Air Force, but the Air Force wasn't accepting people then. So it was just like
so I guess they had you had to feel some type of way when that happened.
I ain't really get it. I appreciated it, but I ain't really like get it. You know what I mean? I ain't really like get it. I called him a few years later, when I had been there for a while, and told him like, okay, I get it now. I get it now.
Damn,
Like
that's
it
crazy.
was a few years later after being in there and seeing, how that lifestyle is. You start to get a respect for, you know what I mean? That level of like, how I want to say. It's just it's respect first off to like. I just respected it all, like everything. It just made sense because now I know what it feels like to work for what you have.
Oh yeah.
And that's pretty much what he was trying to teach me the whole time is that like nobody's gonna give you, or at least I'm not just finna give you shit. That's just out. That's just out. I'm not just finna be giving you stuff. And then it got to a point where I was getting up in age. You know what I mean? And I'm still running around here doing dumb. You know what I mean? Then I'm living back over here. Now you pretty much grown at this point, which I don't agree with the whole. Like one thing I can give him though, he never kicked me out. He never kicked me out. You know how they say like we kick our kids out at 18. He never kicked. Mom Dukes was going. You know what I mean? Goddamn. Think that punt game wasn't gonna be fire. Mom Dukes was gonna let it rip. But I mean, I deserved that too. I stole a car and all kinds of stuff. So
Oh yeah,
I deserved it.
You was out here wilding.
Yeah. I was doing a bit, bro.
Well, before I ask this question, I just want to make sure that you answered the question fully. Did y'all finish that?
Oh, he said the military. I think he was still
All right, so
going.
it was
the
Oh
military.
yeah. No, hold on.
All right, the
I
military.
think it was
Okay.
more than that. Let me tell you when I felt like he looked at me like a man.
Okay.
In my opinion, it wasn't until after I bought my house. Until I had my own house that was mine, that's when I saw the relationship change.
Is
See,
that
but
true?
that's what we be talking about, the levels. I said it was a few things. So it's levels. I was trying to get there.
Oh, okay.
But it's levels. You know what
So
I mean?
you don't disagree with that statement?
No, I don't disagree, but that's way down the road though.
Okay.
Yeah. We was at the military. You ain't even did 5 years yet.
Yeah.
He still, bro said he got 2 more steps before you even got to the house.
But seriously speaking though, but yeah, once got him into the military, like he said, a few years later he called me, and that really did something for me when he called me and told me that he understands.
I guess
Because like you say, it ain't no book. Don't nobody really know the perfect way to do, if there is one.
did that make you feel like you was doing it right?
Yeah, make me feel like I did something right.
Something right.
Not doing it right, but something right. I did something right.
Something
You know what I'm
connected.
saying?
Yeah, no.
So yeah, when he called me and told me that, I felt great. it made me feel like I had accomplished something. You know what I mean? So everything I did wasn't, you know
A
what I mean?
waste.
It wasn't, yeah, I
That's
didn't do
fire.
everything
That's
wrong.
fire. That's a
You
lot.
know what I'm saying? So I had accomplished something. So what I did was, after that, then when he called me when he was leaving, he was leaving the military, never been on a plane in my life. Never been on nothing. The biggest boat I've been on was a fishing boat. You fish, you know what I mean? I never been on a plane. He called me and said that he was coming home and he wanted me he was getting out and he wanted me to come fly down. I had to fly down. Well, I could have caught the bus, but it was too late. I fly down there and then drive with him back 18 hours back to Charlotte to bring his furniture because he was moving, everything, his car and everything back to Charlotte.
We use at Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma.
Lawton, Oklahoma. Boy, I'd
Yeah.
never go
Jeez,
back.
That's a little
So
ride.
I got on the plane, first time flying. I never wanted to get on the plane. Had said I'd never get on the plane. Wasn't nowhere for me to go was that important. You know what I mean? For me to fly.
And then them little ass
Oh, yeah, I
planes
remember that
in
camera.
Lawton, them planes be so small. Like, bro, let me just tell you this experience one time, real quick, bro. So I'm headed to the Army, right? Headed to the military, and so we on the plane. We in Dallas, nice. You ever been to Dallas Airport?
No, not Dallas. No.
Nice, big ass airport, and so it's nice. And I get from Charlotte. Well, either way, I'm getting on the plane in going to Lawton, bro. When I tell you, so this is my first time flying. I'm going to basic training, and first warning sign was that the doggone flight attendant, she done buckled up. So she done sat down and buckled up. Yeah, facts. And of course they said it'd be a little turbulence, you know what I mean? But then when I see her buckle up, I was like, oh, okay, so this is how it's going left, right?
It was full of
So
riding
then,
like it had hydraulics.
bro, when I tell you, you ever heard like when you're on a roller coaster and it's going down, everybody's screaming. So like literally, we getting that,
You get
like
them G-forces.
like everybody's screaming on us. So like, bro, I just start praying, right? I just close my eyes and start praying. I get done and look at the dude on my left. He was praying at the same time. I say, oh yeah, it's dark.
Y'all was out of
It's
here.
dark. After that, I just couldn't do nothing but laugh. It's like, yeah, it's pretty rough right now. But yeah, that was a little side story.
I guess if I was to go to this is probably my last question, at the moment, where I would love to hear your perspective or your thoughts on the impact of you not being able to, or I guess it sounds like at a time you were there day to day, and then there was a time where you wasn't there day to day. And the impact on like you as a parent and him as your kid.
That's when that's pretty much when that wasn't the bad time when I wasn't there when he was there with his mother and stuff like that. Where we hit our turbulence was pretty much around the time when he started moving in with me, staying with me, because he was like I was back in the day. He never asked for nothing. He never said he wanted nothing. If you ask him did he want something, he was all right. I don't read no damn sign language. You know what I'm saying? If you want something, just tell me what you want, cause I would have went and got it, and he'd know it. I would have went and got it, whatever it was. I would have went and got it. But I'm not finna sit here and play no guessing game with me. I'm not like that. You actually want something, you say no. I'm done with it.
It ain't no guessing game
know.
going there. You at least some noodles, nigga.
Hey,
It ain't no guessing game. You know I gotta eat, and it's you ain't got nothing in here. So what you think? Is that a guessing game?
bruh.
I mean,
I don't think we guessing at this point. I think that should be just a known. We have an understanding that life requires nutrition.
How many times?
everybody
How many
thought you was eating
times?
at school?
Oh dang! What was it? That might have been the summer or something too that I stayed over there.
How many times did I go in the kitchen?
Yeah, you ain't-
Okay, so how did I know was anything in there or not? If you was the one going in there,
he taught me how to stretch an egg. I done seen him cook one time.
Stretch your egg.
How to stretch an egg, bro. It's a way that you put it in that pan and you let it slide over. You gotta, man. It's the way you stretch your egg, bro.
yeah, you can stretch an
You can
egg.
stretch an egg. That's facts.
People cook
Facts,
5
bro.
or 6 eggs.
I've been doing that shit ever since.
But seriously, I can take 1 egg and make it look like 2 or 3.
Facts. I can too. And they
Yeah.
showed me how to do it.
Yeah, I can make
That's
one. I
facts.
can take
Be
one
the kitchen
egg,
stepping
crack
on
one
eggs.
egg. Yeah, yeah.
Hey, give him the recipe.
It ain't even really a recipe.
Yeah.
It ain't really a recipe. It's
It's
literally
just how you cook the egg.
It's just how you cook it.
Just stepping on eggs.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Bro, I've been killing them eggs ever since, bro. I'm telling you, back in the day when I was in the army giving plasma to make, you know what I mean, to make shit work, you got to know how to stretch an egg, bro. It came in handy. I'm telling you, it came in handy.
I mean, I like eggs, so
Me, bro.
I might need to learn. how to
Maybe
stretch
that's
one.
a metaphor for life or something. You
Learn
gotta
how
learn how to.
stretch your egg.
learn how to
Man, you
stretch
got to
the
know how to
egg.
stretch your
Stretch your
egg.
egg.
I guess before we land, I would like to say that there's a joke and then there's a seriousness. I would like to say that old head Rail obviously got his fashion sense from Pops.
I'm like that.
From the boots and up. But old head, old head senior. I'm gonna just call you senior.
Thank you.
I'm gonna tell you, Rail was also in like 10th grade talking about dressing like a 30-year-old.
Oh, really?
Hey, I couldn't wait to start stomping on them knees.
You talking about jeans and the hard bottoms.
Jeans and hard bottoms.
This is facts.
But I think that is a reflection of what he looked up to. And I'm pretty sure like what he's seen as like a man and what symbolizes a man was you, and from the dress to your appearance, how you look, how you carry yourself. Outside of like, you know what I mean, y'all already look alike. Like there is a bit of
gotta stop telling that
resemblance
nigga that,
between
bro.
each other. Where like I think that's dope. Where like you can kind of see the influence. Yeah, I don't know. Before matter of fact, this is my last before. I need y'all in the chat. Put a 1 if you think old head Junior looks older. Give me a 2 in the chat.
That's what I was about to say.
Who is the oldest? And who is the oldest?
Give me a 2 in the chat if you think that old head senior looks younger.
Yeah.
It's talk to us.
He wish he looked this good. That's the thing. He wish.
They both salt and peppering. One got the copy and paste. One got the skee ball. Let us know.
I mean, this is facts. This is definitely fact. But I think that was that was definitely a well-rounded conversation. Before I land the plane, I definitely, I want to shout out Senior here too, for real, for doing a good job. My dog Red, one of my best homies out here, real solid. You did a good job, solid ass individual. So I can definitely see where you get it from. Definitely see, the work rubbing off, on my boy. So I definitely, need to, commend you for that.
I appreciate
For sure. But having said that, I'm gonna go ahead and put a pin in it.
Well, Johnny, I think this puts us at an interesting space. So we got a panel where we got one guy dating about 2 years, serious relationship. We got married guy, and we have single Johnny. So old head, I feel like you came dressed like you got a lot of game.
No.
I see the Gators. They there.
Gators.
That means something.
Gators.
So I'd love to get your I wouldn't love. I'd love for you to give Johnny some like what is some dating advice that you would give a single guy inside this atmosphere from an old head?
Oh hell.
Oh man.
What kind of car she need to be driving?
I'm
Is it red flags in that?
I'm here for it. Let me hear something.
No, I mean,
What kind of career she need to have? Is it red flags in that? I don't know. I'm just throwing out things. I'm interested.
I'm you know what I mean, cars and jobs and titles and stuff like that. It's red flags and all of that. I mean, yeah, I don't. If you driving, if you broke and you driving a Nissan, I ain't got nothing for you. I'm just being honest. You driving a what's that with the S on it?
Now them Altimas.
The That's what they do.
Ultimas, you gotta
Altima.
watch out for them.
You driving? Yo, yeah, that's a Nissan too, an Altima. But I'm talking about the one with
Watch
the
out.
what is that other one?
Sonata.
Them right there.
What kind of women come inside the
But
Sonata?
if you, Shaquita. Shaquita,
I knew that was
and she
coming,
gonna
too.
run you off the road, gonna jump out of her car and threaten to whoop yo. I'm telling you, Shaquita got it for you. I'm telling you.
Johnny, no Sonatas. Ultimas.
Windows tinted so dark, she got to roll them down to see if a car coming.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's funny. We just seen
no,
that
bruh.
the other day.
Can't do it. You know what I mean?
Nah,
And then
I'm with
you know now, it's all right for a woman to have a nice car. But if you got the higher end of the higher end cars, that's another sign. She got it all figured out. She don't need no man. She just need a partner. Let her go. She got it all figured out. I'm just being
Got
honest.
it all figured out?
Yeah, she got it figured out. She got the big truck and you know what I mean? She got so-called title, whatever. You can see it in her face when you talk to her. That she's above pretty much everybody. Cause she got it figured out.
Above reproach.
Yes. You can unless you come in with something, the only way you're gonna get her to really kind of step down enough, just enough now to notice you, is you got to be rocking something harder than hers. And see, at my age, I ain't trying to hear none of that. I'm trying to retire. I'm gonna let y'all young people have this. Y'all can do what y'all want to do. I'm that white man said something about 67. I'm not gonna see 60 nothing. I'm retiring.
No 69.
No 60 nothing. No 60s. Nothing in the 60s. I will see. I'm gonna be sitting at home. For real. Y'all go out there with your fancy cars.
My bad, I had to throw it.
Hey.
So basically, he's saying she can't have like Range Rover, she can't have Sentra, Altima.
No.
So you saying she need to be in like a nice, smooth, like
Toyota Camry.
She can Toyota,
Honda Accord,
Honda, you know
Honda
what I'm saying?
Accord, okay.
Yeah, you know,
Okay. Subaru Forester.
You could,
Oh no, y'all ain't fucking with the
No,
game.
she ain't no Jeep.
Hey, watch this.
you don't put it in a truck now.
SUV.
That's
SUV.
no,
It's
no,
SUV.
no, bruh, no. Well, it depends. For me, maybe she could drive an SUV because I'm older.
I mean,
But
that means she
because she
responsible.
got kids. Because she got kids. You a young man. You ain't got no kids. You ain't trying to.
Okay,
you know,
no,
you can't
hey,
have a pretty bunch.
I feel you. Nah,
So
that's
she,
a good
if she
point.
need a truck,
That's a good point.
If she need a truck, then she.
What you need all this trunk space for?
Thank you, thank you.
What about a Jeep over here?
Thank you. You got the starting lineup right there. Starting lineup.
They say
what about
Toyota Camry,
A
Honda
Jeep?
Accord.
What about a Jeep?
See, the Jeep trend, the ones that drive the Jeep, to be perfectly honest, they ain't looking for your black ass no way. They looking for them rich ass white
Yeah, she
man.
be outside too much and she
They
got a
look,
Range.
they look for a rich
She
ass
be
white man. That's what
outside
they
way
looking
too
for.
much.
Yeah, they looking for him to save her.
Hey, go
what-
ahead.
yeah.
Sing it. Can I turn it up a little bit?
Okay.
I love to get your opinion. In the dating process, how you feel about tricking?
Who?
Tricking.
Tricking.
Great question.
Is it tricking if
Great
you got
question.
it?
If it's tricking, what?
If you got it.
If you gay.
Is
If
it
you
trick?
got it. Is it tricking if you got it?
You can't look. I'm old. I'm old. You gonna be a whispering and you know what I mean. You sitting right next to me and you whispering.
Is it tricking if you got
You know
it?
what they say? Never mind.
I was like, he threw me off. He said gay. I was like,
I did not say that.
He said
I
gay.
did not.
I heard that too.
I did not
is
say
true.
that.
I
at
didn't hear
all.
him say that.
Y'all can run it back. Microphone. I did not say that.
But no, all right. So what is your take on tricking? You think all men trick, or you think that tricking is? I don't know. I like to leave it open ended. I don't know.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you.
All right.
Even swap ain't no swindle. If she needs something from you and you give it to her, and then you want something from her and she give it to you, and when both of y'all leave each other, both of y'all happy, I don't see the problem.
Bro said an
Is that
even
talking about
I just
swap
feel
ain't
like,
no swindle.
huh?
Is that oh,
It's
my
a
bad.
bar.
Yeah. I
Okay.
know where you're going. I know where you're going, and I'm gonna answer it just like this. If you married, you paying for pussy because your wife will roll over in that bed and say clank clank. Cause you didn't get her something that she said she wanted, and you fell short. So she gonna let you know that you ain't parting these knees until you get what she want. So you paying for it. My mama and my daddy told me back in the day, every man and every woman buy and sell that.
So in other words, you're saying that.
Every woman and
Every
In
man.
other words, you're saying that everybody
Somebody's
tricks.
buying it and somebody's selling it.
So
Every woman and every man you get, one of them's buying and one of them's selling.
So everybody tricking is what you're saying.
Everybody. And anybody that tell you they ain't tricking, they ain't honest with their damn self.
tricking. So
That's right.
what do you define as tricking? Then?
When you with your wife, that's
Oh,
not,
so you could trick on your wife too.
but that's not called tricking when you with your wife. That's called responsibility. Because you're responsible for maintaining your wife what she's used to. So if she's used to that, then you're responsible to maintain it for her.
Yeah,
So, but if go ahead.
So before I guess you get too deep into it, so is there a difference between courting and tricking? I guess that's like the question that I wanna drill into. And so, can you court without tricking?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then everybody doesn't trick.
No.
Oh, but everybody still trick.
No, everybody trick. I don't care how good everybody trick. Everybody.
Okay.
All of them trick. You know what I mean? And you can get tricked by your wife.
So
That's right.
You can get tricked.
Yeah, you can get tricked.
So you can be.
So what does it
unwilling.
mean to trick? I don't even. I guess I have to figure out your working definition.
When
of
she
getting-
working you for something that she know that normally you wouldn't get her.
When she working you for something normally,
Then she tricking.
Hey,
and she's tricking.
That's right.
motherfucker could be playing
That's
the
right.
long game though.
When she working
could be
you for
working her to
something
get
that
something
normally
that
you
she
wouldn't
don't
get
get.
her. No matter whether she's cooking you this special dinner you like, and then she take you upstairs and rock your world and all of that, whatever. As long as she get what if she had an agenda when she did that, she was tricking. It's just a fact.
He was.
It's just a fact.
Yeah, it's just a fact. She was tricking.
That's. I guess that's an interesting point.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I agree, but I
Okay.
think
please give me another
let's say-
perspective on the point then.
Let's ask Braille, does he agree?
Yeah, no, I think that there's a difference between courting and tricking.
We
But the
weren't
thing
talking about
is
courting,
that
though.
well, hold on. The thing is that that line seems to be very, very fine, and I haven't really gotten myself to the point where I fully understand. You know what I mean? The difference, because at the end of the day, I feel like if you're a single person, as a single man, there's already an understanding that anything it's gonna cost you something. You know what I mean? It's gonna cost you something. So you kind of already know that. You know what I mean? You kind of already know that. Especially if you have a standard as to what you're willing to accept. I think you can get away with, you know what I mean? Because I done got away with like some
I think I'm gonna disagree on
But
that
it ain't tricking though.
because I think that presenting value is the biggest thing, especially inside like the dating and early on phase, where I can speak for me personally, where I would say that I know that, especially through my 20s, I didn't have
20s don't count because everybody kind of still, you know what I mean. 20, I don't feel like the 20s count because like the expectations
figure it
aren't
out.
as like serious as they are as you become like an adult.
All right, so I can still even go into
grown.
like even all the way up to like my most recent job, where there's never really been a moment that, and I wish he was in here right now, where I've led with my wallet, in which like the value that I typically try to build is usually based off like first date. I never go anywhere expensive. It's never about that at all. Like I forget, Optimus Hall is where I went to with Ty's first date. And we grabbed something and like we
just
just
talked.
sat and talked for
Right.
like 2 hours. Then we went in the car, talked a little bit longer and shit like that. But to me, I usually try and build value off of me as the person
Right.
before it becomes like, oh, you work here and you do that and you can do this, that, and the third. Oh, and you got a house and you got. To me, I like to look at that as icing on the cake.
Yeah.
My value usually tends to get built from like, oh, you like how I think. You're really interesting. Oh, you're engaged in what I'm saying. You can make like these witty jokes based off of things that I said and have callbacks and shit like that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like where I've always like placed my flag at. But I think that in general, women want value from men. But there's different versions of value that women will take from different men. If that makes sense.
That makes
Potent-
perfect sense. That makes perfect sense.
like
No.
if you have the hard like cold hard cash, that's a version of value. Women love some potential too,
Yeah.
especially at a specific age range. They love that potential. That's when you get the artsy fartsies and the guys that play the guitar and all that shit like that. And you be like, damn, how you pull that one right there? And truthfully, what's crazy? Women that make a lot of money, they actually like those guys. Like the lawyer, the banker, the woman that's making like 500 plus, because she's not trying to find the value inside a guy with dollars. So she's looking usually for like the intangible piece. And I've learned that even through my journeys, like I would get a lot of like high earning women, but it would be because of our value systems still equaled up.
I feel like you're giving away too
Oh, my
much
bad, my
game,
bad,
man.
yeah.
It's supposed,
Yeah, no,
My bad.
You know the only thing.
You know
the only thing I'm thinking
sold,
about.
not told.
My bad, Johnny.
You know the only thing I'm thinking about though, like it's in my opinion, like I would have to see like the longevity of said thing. You know what I mean? Because like if you just like talking about if depending on what your expectation of it is, like if we just gonna have a good time, then what's the difference of like you know what I mean? There's a different checklist for having a good time, and then you know what I mean. That it is that, and I think that a lot of the times where some people will make themselves believe that they're looking for more than a good time, when that checklist is you're using the good time checklist. Like you're not using the long term. You know what I
I mean, I
mean?
see what you're saying, but
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I like to hear you unpack it a little bit more. I'm not sure exactly what you're talking. Or maybe old head kind of has.
I think I kind of answered a question, the wrong question with my last answer, because what Quentin is talking about and what you talking about, those type of women don't come at you the way I was talking about. They wait till they get their papers. They wait till you their husband. That's when they trick. But it's not because of these tricksters out here in the street. Now, all women trick, but you got the tricksters, and that's what I thought we was talking about.
Tricksters.
Yeah, because the woman like Quint talking about, she's not gonna ever come at you like that. And she's appalled if you ever try to come at her like that. But once she get her paper with her ring on her finger, then everything's fair.
Or
'Cause she owns you now.
Once you move in.
Yeah, once you, yeah, some of them you wait. Once you move in, yeah, then we can, yeah, then they can do whatever they want to do, because to them, they not a hoe if they do it that way. But in reality, it's the same thing that a hoe do. It's just that you have like levels to your stuff.
saying front end versus back end.
Yeah, you
Front
you
end
wait
versus
until
back
you do, yours is exclusive. That's the difference. Yours is exclusive. That's exact when Shaquita and all of them.
Feel like
Hey,
old head gets
it's highest bidder. It's to the highest bidder. But her, yeah. I mean, like I said, it's just a different type. But everybody do it. But them tricksters out there, that's one thing. But a woman like the one Quentin talking about, the one you talking about, she gonna do it.
I
But
was
she
just
gonna do
telling
it
you.
like you say after she done moved in, after she get a ring, something like that. That's when she
I
go.
can tell you this: the old head know a thing or two about
Yeah.
the tricksters.
Trickster.
He know a thing or two about the tricksters.
Hey, we ain't
Look like
gotta,
you're giving my man a migraine over
we
here.
ain't we ain't gotta unpack that. Like that can just
Hey, you
be-
can't embarrass me.
That could be a
You can't embarrass
No, I
me.
already know it. That's why I said
You
it.
can't
I already
embarrass
know that.
So
You can't embarrass me.
Never
bro.
mind.
You can.
He ain't always been married. You know what I
You
mean?
can't embarrass me.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I don't care who see this.
So
I'm
you
good.
so you've been caught outside tricking is what
I'm
is
good.
that what Real saying?
That's why I always work all my life.
Hey,
All my life. Keep a
Keep
pair-
couple quarters.
keep a couple quarters.
Gotta count just for the trickster. Gotta count just for her.
Hey,
Yeah. Better quit playing.
hey, over here, tell him you gotta keep a couple quarters.
Bro.
He said this is why I work all my
All
You
my
ain't know
life.
shit. Hey.
clip that. Hey Marco, clip that.
Hey. I'm, man.
Oh
You know,
Lord.
man, I done had 3 apartments at one time.
Different.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I done
yeah.
had 3 apartments.
You got 3 apartments.
Woman
Yeah.
in this apartment, woman in this apartment, and then I say 3 apartments, and then I be living in my house. But I don't. That wasn't. It wasn't something that I did on the regular. It was
Yeah.
something that happened because the girl I got the one place for, I decided after I got the place for, I ain't want nothing to do with her. So-
You be buying women places and well
No,
my bad, like in a previous lifetime.
No.
Like you'll be
You're
renting
rent.
you're like you're renting out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta think about it too.
If you can,
So I got a question.
Real estate prices was way down.
So like
back in the 90s.
this is the
Real estate prices was way down. Back in-
500 for the part.
yeah, man.
LA quarter.
That shit is totally different.
yeah,
He said where was that? LA quarter.
yeah, telling you, bro. So yeah, I used to. Yeah. You know how many cars I done bought? I can fill up a car lot with the cars.
That's
Go ahead, say you know I done bought the
Yeah,
car.
I know it.
I
I
done
know
bought
it.
the car.
I
King
know
Trick.
it. You gotta think about it, bro. During that
If I-
time
if
period,
I-
bro, that shit was just completely different.
Yeah, and this was my motto, for real. All the bull crap aside, this was my motto. If you my side piece, you got to benefit some type of way. Cause number one, I don't want you to be my side piece, his side piece, and his side.
Oh, you like an exclusive
So,
side piece.
That's right. You gonna
So how you treat your side piece?
I'm gonna make sure she doing better than she was doing when she met me. You know, she gotta
they
get
paying
something out the
for
game.
How Corey say
He's saying
$75.
Being honest. I'm just being honest. That's how I was. You know,
Yeah.
I'm married now, and I'm doing. You know, like I say, I'm on my 12-step program.
Yeah.
And it's working out fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm good to my butt. We talking about before this? Shit. Well, I be 100, bro.
You know, I
You gotta,
love it.
you gotta wait for the Patreon. We gotta wait for the post.
Well, I like the I like to ask this question. This is like a sphere that I haven't like heard of or thought of. So you're inside like the 40 plus range. Do the women get less crazy 40 plus?
Oh hell no, bro.
What they be like?
Nah,
no.
cause they be, bro. When they young and crazy is different than old and crazy.
How old and crazy?
See,
I was
older
gonna say
women,
something fucked up.
older women, society, and which is true. Society has told them that, you know, basically once you get to a certain point, then as far as you like having a husband or being in a real good committed relationship or whatever, your chances get less and less likely the older you get.
Okay.
So they crazy because they scrambling for the, you know what I mean? They scrambling for that one. You know, everybody want to be with somebody. Don't nobody want to be alone. You know, you understand or whatever. But when they get something and they like it or whatever, oh, bruh, you don't want to mess with it.
What is that with Martin Lawrence? Thin line?
Thin line between
Thin
love
line?
and hate. Yeah, did she not tell him what he?
Yes.
And most of the time, No, all the time. They
So,
show you
and
the sign.
Yeah,
And
Martin was kind of tripping on that, but he had the setup, bro.
No, he did, but
He had
Yeah,
the
he did.
but
setup.
old head, in your
He had
tricking
the
days,
setup.
did you ever get thin line? You ever ran across one of them?
I'm telling you to be perfectly honest. I feel like that. Be perfectly honest, I feel like that if I wasn't on this 12-step program, I'd be in a thin line right now. I'd be in a thin line right now.
Say,
Not right
man,
now, but
say,
right now.
Bite
right now, you
Right
12
now.
steps away.
You don't even understand, boy. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. It's
I know what it is, but
women. I think a lot of the guys, the guys before me that really know, this dating thing, and people a lot better than I do, are right.
What they say?
When you get my age, you should be established to a certain point.
Okay.
Now, nobody say you have to be rich. You know what I mean? I'm not rich. Nobody say you have to be rich, but there's certain things you need to be done accomplished
Yeah.
at my age. And if you have accomplished those things,
What are some
do
of those
you
things?
know how sexy you get to these heifers out here, bro?
I get it. So what right? Listen. Before the 12 step arrange,
That wasn't meant to be derogatory. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but yeah, for real though, seriously. I'm telling you, bro. But you was asking me a question.
you're saying that at a certain age, women place your value way higher when you have a certain amount of things accomplished, or like you know what I mean, tokens to which that they consider. What are some of those things that, as a 40 plus guy, you should be striving to have and achieve?
to look as to women to think you have value.
Yeah.
Well, see,
40 plus.
at 40 plus, now when you at my age, it's different. But at 40 plus, you need to at least have a car, an apartment.
Apartment or house? Does the apartment hold the same
See,
weight as the house?
No, it doesn't. But
Okay.
you 40. You 40. You know what I'm saying? You 40. Between 40 and 50, that's your last window to obtain these things, where you buying your stuff and not renting.
I got a question.
If you can get it before, it's
Now I got you.
immaculate.
At what age should you not be renting no more? Like when is it necessary that you have like a house? And if you don't, then they start like knocking you down a little bit, or condo, townhome, whatever. But like you owning something.
Some assets.
Oh, if you ain't got a deed to something, or
By when?
or at 50.
50. Okay.
50.
That was
Yeah,
a generous
50.
one. All right.
And really, to be perfectly honest, 50 is too late.
What's that real number?
That real number is about, I'm going to say, you late if you ain't between, I ain't even saying 45, between 38, between 38.
Yeah.
And you ain't gonna hurt no feelings. Just say it.
I wish you could see the split cam of Johnny. Every time you say like,
Yes.
he keep getting,
Yeah.
his eyes get wide.
I'm going to say between
This
38,
is it right here. I love it.
I'm going to say between 38
Yeah.
and 43.
Okay.
Because as long as it takes you to actually
6
get
years,
into the
Johnny.
house, so
6 years.
so at
You overpaid.
43, you should be closing on your deal. By 45, if you ain't already got your house, you already behind the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You already behind the thing. But the ideal age you want to get your house is in your latter 30s or just when you turn 40.
All right. So how?
Because you have went through enough, and you should understand enough to where then you are ready for a purchase that size. Now, anybody that can get it before then, hey, kudos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at that age right there, I feel like that if you ain't already got these things or in the process of getting these things, women already see your
Start
value.
putting you down.
That's
So
your-
outside the house, what else would you say?
No, you're gonna own your own car. You're gonna have a
Okay.
job. You're gonna have a job.
Is it a certain amount that you should be making, or is it just like as long as you gainfully employed?
No, you should be wherever you live at. Wherever you live at,
Okay.
you should not be under the average income for that area.
Okay.
You should not be under.
I like that. I
At
like
that
that.
age, you should not be
I
under
like
the
that.
average income
I like that.
for that area. We ain't got to be rich. Women don't expect us to be rich. They just want us to bring something to the table. You know what I mean? And I ain't mad at you. But these days and times, we want you to bring something besides your legs to the table too. You know what I mean? If you plan on staying now, if we gonna do the even swap, ain't no swindle, then you know your legs is good with me.
Even swap. Swindle,
Hey.
boy.
So what that? So your lady got to work.
Huh?
Your lady got to work.
My lady retired. She retired this
okay.
month. She retired. She could have been retired before. She done been retired before and went back to work. Retired and went back to work. And she just retired again.
Okay. I dig that.
So I got a question because this is something that we've been through this multiple times on our podcast. We preferably would you say that you prefer a traditional relationship or a modern relationship?
But just make sure you define what modern means, because I think that.
I mean, but he
knows.
Yeah, he knows what modern means.
I would preferably, because statistically speaking,
Why you got to put quotes on statistics?
because because I want to make sure everybody understand that you got too much to lose. And statistically speaking, you're not going to be together more than 5 to 8 years.
Okay.
And when you leave that relationship, if you
I hear you talking.
if you somebody that's assertive, that's about their business, that's trying to build something, you know what I'm saying? Then you're gonna be done built a whole lot with somebody that you ain't gonna die with. And they gonna get, and I don't know what the dynamic is. I don't know if
We
you
just
lucky,
generally speaking. I got you.
if you lucky, your partner is just as just as outgoing as you is, as far as achieving things.
Driven, ambitious.
I like
But-
that. I like that.
But if they not, then you're gonna wish you had had that, that today's type of relationship.
And that's so.
I done been
Oh.
listen, I done been married 3 times. 3 times.
Yeah.
Every time I left with my bags. And I was the one who put the down payment on the houses. I was the one that paid the bills. I was the one that paid them. I'm telling you, I did it. The only time I can
Horror
say
stories from the
the
tradition.
only time that I didn't leave with my bags was with his mother. She left me the house. But
Stand up.
my child support was so high, I was bringing home after child support $400 a month. And the mortgage on the house, this was back in 90.
Sheesh.
Or like
That's tough,
90.
bruh.
Yeah.
The mortgage on the
Damn.
house was exactly $400. And I was bringing in exactly $400. Excuse me.
You know how much money that house
I
is
had to
worth
work
right now?
Yeah,
That one
works.
that's that motherfucker.
Yeah, it's worth
Good
it.
God.
Yeah.
Glad he kept on,
But
to keep
I,
it, that's an asset.
I had to work a part-time job just to pay the utilities and be able to get back and forth to work. So I tried to get a roommate, whatever. Didn't work out. I had to let it go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wish I had been in a better position, but I wasn't. But yeah, that's the
No, I get you. That's an interesting perspective that I can't say that I've heard, but I actually think is super smart. Is the fact that the longevity and percentage of marriages lasting a long time is very minimal. Where what you put yourself into, if like you're just purely like paying all of everything, is almost like it's. I don't want to use the word debt, but like it puts you into like a space where, you know what I mean, you end up giving more than you receive. So before we wrap, getting close to that time, Rel, he's put us on, and he's let us know that, you know what I mean, you kind of a savant inside the stock game. I love for before we get up out of here, you just give us some tips from old head in the stock market. I almost feel like this could be like a reoccurring thing where you come and drop some stock gems on us.
Oh, yeah, I already know.
Like we heard the portfolio crazy. Just some quick stock gems. What you got for us?
No, I mean, to be perfectly honest, this is a rough time we in right now.
Mm-hmm.
But back when everything was booming, excuse me, back when everything was booming and everything, everybody got in. It was big. Everybody wanted to be in the market. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we was pushing penny stocks and things like that, stocks that normally the people that are in the know, they know those companies don't go up like they did until they have at least one positive quarter, sometimes two. But we poor people, and rightfully so, as a poor person, your risk tolerance should be greater than people that have money. Because people that have money, worst fear is being broke. A broke person, worst fear is
I guess maybe being homeless. I
I ain't
don't know.
scared of nothing.
being homeless.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you don't have far to fall. You don't have far to fall. The worst thing you can do is not get in and work till you 70, because by the time y'all get ready to retire, the retirement age will be 70. Work till you 70 and have one foot in the grave when you're able to get Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
But penny stocks are the most lucrative play as long as you understand the company that you're investing in and at least believe in what they're doing, because penny stocks is the easiest way for a poor man to get rich. They have the ticker on I think it's MS. Anyway, the stocks exchange come on 34, and the ticker is the Nasdaq and the Dow. The Dow's on top, Nasdaq on the bottom. They used to run
Penny stocks.
penny stocks across there all the time. Stocks you've never heard of. You just jot down the tickers and then look them up and see what they're doing, whatever. Now
They don't.
they don't run them. They hardly run any on there. And it's because they know that people get rich off of those penny stocks. You can buy a million shares of a company for point zero zero blase and pay less than $1,000.
Right.
That stock can go up 1 cent and you can make not 1 cent. I'm talking about 0.0001.
Yep. It's almost like comparable a little bit to like how crypto is, and like how little you can invest. And I would say that through Rail from you, one of the things that even inside like me investing currently that I do think about is the idea of like owning quantities of shares over like just a very name brand stock.
Yes.
In which with the penny stock, you do have the ability to really invest into the quantities, and that's what
And the thing-
that's what
and the-
throws it up.
and the thing is
that's what
that-
makes you rich is the fact that if I got excessive amount of quantities of this share and it moves.
See
A
the
nickel.
but the point of but the
nickel
You
make
can
you
be a
a
nickel.
millionaire.
Millionaire.
Yeah.
A nickel.
And I got you.
But you gotta be willing to hold.
You got to be willing
Willing
to
to
hold.
hold.
That's-
And
But see,
like long term, and you gotta be you gotta be emotionally unattached to it.
And see, the thing is
you
that,
can't,
bro-
you can't worry about them ups and downs
No, you
that
can't.
roller coaster
That's
is
right.
gonna go through. You gotta do it.
Yep.
You gotta be gone, and then then that's it. So I
Yeah.
mean, I think
Yeah,
I'ma tell
you
this
gotta be
story.
willing
Let me
to-
tell
you
this
gotta be
story
willing
real
to
quick.
lose the money.
I'm gonna tell the story real quick about how I actually even got into the market, right? So Old had already been in the market for 20 plus years, right? So essentially he was like, I'll give you a stock. I want to give you a stock. and I want you to figure out which one you want. And so I ended up picking DraftKings. This was back 2019, maybe. Oh, hey, that sound about right. By 2019, and so I guess we ain't even got to go into all of the long parts of the story. But the thing is that I don't understand. In my opinion, I don't understand where like in our situations, I don't understand where we would be investing short term. I ain't saying that like I'm just talking about in let's say just middle class earners, right? Let's just put it there. Let's say we're all middle class earners. I don't, in my opinion, and based on what I've gained from old head over the time I've been, you know me, investing, I don't see why we would be investing in short term, especially at our age. Investing short term in your early to mid 30s, to me, that just doesn't make sense. Because in my opinion,
It
it's
just
like
depends on
Well,
investing
I about to say, I think it depends on the
it
play.
depends on what you're doing. Like
on
short
what
term,
you're investing in, too.
like
I get
swing,
that.
like swing trading
Yeah, but
has its own like
or
thing. If
like
you're
day trading.
day
Oh,
trading,
yeah, day
And
trading.
that's forex. Like that, like
But I
it's
don't
just a
think,
different
see, but then
version
with
of-
day trading as well, like, you may have enough time, but the average person doesn't
Oh no,
have enough time
I
to
don't
day trade.
Like,
I don't.
I
But
don't
I'm
do
saying
any
I
of
can
those.
understand.
Yeah, about that,
I
I'm a long
understand that
term.
part.
Yeah,
I got you. I was
or
talking
even
more.
like swing
Yeah.
trading. But yeah,
But I
at
can
home,
see where the value.
if
of
you're
it
at
is.
this age and you're not long term investing,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
doesn't make because like once you get 30 plus, you got to think about 40, 50, 60.
Right.
If you ain't thinking about it right now, nobody else gonna be thinking about it for you. You
Damn
know,
sure
you
ain't.
can't depend on. I've seen people depend on like spouses and kids, and unfortunately, shit happen in life. Your family might not be able to be there with you, so you got to do
Right.
something to take care of yourself, and that's why I like long term. But I don't see anything wrong with swing
Yeah.
No,
trading
I don't mean it. And then that's the thing.
or anything. That's all. That's all I'm saying. You got to just
It's also about, yeah, like I say, if you're going to do that, we ain't going to run the show out too long, but if you're going to do
So,
like the day
fellas,
trading shit,
Matt,
then
how
it's
about
going
this?
to definitely take some
Let me
time.
interject real quick. Before we get too deep into it, it sounds like we starting to introduce a new segment. Where we start to dive a little bit more into financial literacy
I'm with it.
and personal finances, family finances, stocks, um, just in general, getting into that game because I think that as black men, black community, that's something that we need. So we ain't got to unpack it all the way.
Yeah.
I think this is a good introduction. Like I said, I love to have old head anytime he senior. My bad, senior. I love to have senior here. Anytime you can pull up, like you see something crazy going in the market. I know Johnny. I know Real.
Since you said that,
Uh-oh.
I don't want to cut you off, but since you said that, something I wanted to say that kind of got veered off because old head wanted to tell, about how he got started, and Newton wanted to comment on that, and that's cool. So, but
our bad.
no, no, I got to mess with my son. But anyway, so what I'm saying is right now, the best investments, and I don't like to throw names out because I don't want you to say, "Oh, I bet on this," and then you said, and then I lost, and then I got my money where I think it should be.
Early
But
tester investor
AI,
right
This
here.
is not fiduciary advice. We are not professionals. You got to put that out there.
I'm not licensed,
Financial
or
advisor.
nor do I have any credentials that say I can be telling y'all how to invest. So I'm not telling anybody how to invest. I'm telling you what I've learned doing my own little thing.
Yeah.
But you're right.
So, and that's your opinion.
That's my opinion.
AI is really, if you notice,
We
with
heard
this-
your portfolio text, Ron. We know.
if
Yeah.
you notice right now with what's going on now, the people on the bottom are not losing their jobs. The people that sit behind desks looking at screens and stuff all day, those are the ones that are losing their jobs. That's why the economy is still going strong, even though we in a recession, is because the people who spend the money still have jobs. The people, the higher end earners, they don't spend money on frivolous things like the lower end people. And I'm bringing up the AI and that the jobs and all of that to say that the people in the middle are the ones that are losing the jobs because AI can take over their job just like that. because there's no physical other than a keyboard. There's nothing physical about it. AI is ready to take over those jobs right now.
So the only way to beat it is
So
to buy into it.
the only way to
Bro,
because
old head been
look
saying
in the
this shit for
future,
like.
in the future,
Been saying this for
I've
like
been saying
10
this for
years, bro.
years.
It's
In the future, if you do not own these companies, if you do not have dividend paying stocks, you're not going to have a job. And I'm not saying every job is going to get taken over right now, but the airport, those baggage handlers, those guys that drive those little whatever they are called to bring that luggage from the airplane belly into the airport so you can get your luggage and whatnot. Robots getting ready to do that.
Yeah.
No, that's
I own the companies that have that technology.
no, that's no. I definitely agree with you there. We talked about it last show about the AI. I think that's a good place to leave it. We definitely gonna bring you back. I appreciate you coming. We got
Yeah,
the thing
appreciate you.
in the
Appreciate
building.
you.
This was a good one. I'm your host. Before I get into that, let's say follow us at D2B Fair Show on Facebook. Follow us at D2B Fair Show on Instagram. D2B Fair Show on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button in the corner. Go check out the first listens. We got more coming. I'm your host, Johnny P.
Old head real.
It's Q.
We got Senior with us. Appreciate you for stopping by. And we out.
All right.